exactly like night. Run up the stars, ask them how far are their souls. Fight, I would describe a contest, not a quest for love. Is it a mistake to keep knocking on your door? My name is Ember, and that song is called Request for Love. And I wrote it when I was going through the breakup with my ex. It was like my marriage. I came out as trans. And it also has to do with my family too. It's the same sort of feeling, that feeling where you're trying to reach someone's direct part of their soul. And then you realize the only way to actually have them touch that part of your soul is for them to be able to touch their own part of their soul. That we both need to be in the dance together, like dancers on a dance floor, moving as one in our separate sovereign souls. And when those two different regimes come together, like two different operating systems, one that says us versus them, one that retains operational distance as a way of relating, and then another that works off of the shared relational direct contact of finding our deepest dance in the shared dance of presence, of joining the rhythm, then you get this clash, this like weird like numbness where they literally hear you, but like they can't touch the heart of it. They can't touch the soul of it. And so it's like, well, I told you just where it hurt, just where it burns, and you let it be. Like I had written songs like this song. I had written like putting charts. I had charts with my life story and like how we could connect. Um, I had like whatever emails. I didn't understand that that was the very kryptonite, you know, like that deep vulnerability, that deep soul touching. Because then you invite someone in to let that love change them, right? Because like in order to actually reach somebody, you have to let them change you. Like let the music all the way in, soak it all the way into your heart. So then it says, you told me just when you hurt, or just why you hurt, just when you hurt was me. And because like on the outside, for example, I would like sit and say, can we talk again? And we'll hold hands and like look into each other's eyes. And it was like my attempt to say like, we're not fighting here. There should be no fight, whether it was my family or whoever. There's no way that someone comes to the table and say, I want you to know me better, and then we're fighting. What causes that? What causes that? What causes someone like me to come to the table with songs, cartoons, charts, I love you, can we hug now, can we hold hands now? And it ends up like, you should die, you're a cockroach, you're Hannibal Lecter, you know, go get hit by a truck. How does that happen? How does that disconnection happen? And so then they're saying it's your fault, you're the broken one. That's like too sensitive, you're too broken, you know, that's too much signal. And what they're saying is because they're used to living through the layers, those numbing layers, like sort of like have like cotton balls in your ears in a way. It's like you're almost like hearing the sound, but there's layers of you that it's almost like numb it out. um, and the most horrifying part for me was like suffocating near transition and knowing that I needed to transition, but trying to get the people who I had built my life around to come with me, and I didn't know they couldn't come with me. And I tried so hard to like let them know. And so then it's like, um, found my flesh in flames, the hose in your hand. Because what is the hose but shared relational contact? What is the hose but you, loved person that I've loved for so long, or as my parent, or as my sibling, or whoever? Let's touch that direct part of our soul so we could really know each other all the way down without the buffer. Because when you pour that recognition on me and we both do that shared relational sovereign dance, not fusion, not dependency, but that special thing that things happen in reality that people call decentralized harmony, like when metronomes sync up or fireflies turn on. And it requires giving your full soul. And that's why the previous operating system can't do it, because it's their whole interpersonal world and personal self is built off the representational layers. So when they run into someone who has a permeable sovereignty, who, like the metronomes, like the fireflies, like the birds murmurating, operates the way they relate to people through shared direct authenticity and vulnerability and presence, that actually triggers the situation. Because so then, in other words, I had said back then, and I didn't quite understand the situation. Now I can describe it to you in mechanics and like point to the mechanics. But I said, you don't understand. It's like, why can you watch a loved one? Like I mentioned in the other video, my dad had said, like, oh yeah, we're worried we're gonna lose Ember. Like I'm gonna, like, but they don't want to call me. They don't want to like knock on my door, not once. They don't want to celebrate my transition in any way, shape, or form. But they're afraid they're gonna lose me because I've wrecked my life and I'm broken. But there's no contact and they cannot soak me in. In no way, shape, or form can they like actually take a taste. You know what I mean? I thought before, I was like, why don't you get this? I don't know why you don't get this. I'm trying so hard. But now I understand that it's like the layers. It's like, the shadows of Plato's cave, you could say. Um, so then for me, what I wanted back then, but this is why I wrote this song right before transition, was like, if you could just like say, yeah, I'm here with you in that. We're figuring this out together. Like, not that I needed that. And at the time when I built my whole life around like my family, there was part of me that believed that I needed to consult with them before I transitioned, which is really effed up. But I don't, that's wrong. For anyone out there who's thinking about it, that's your own process. You know what I mean? You can't let other people suffocate you if you need to breathe. And that's a part about it that was horrifying, that they could watch me suffocate right in front of their eyes as I told them I loved them and I was not fighting, right? And like they have the hose in their hand, like we could just love now. We could be family now. Like we could just be present with each other now. Even if we don't agree, there's always a way we can come to the table together and say, we want to know each other more. Like Braille, we want to feel the texture of each other's souls, right? Especially when you're someone like family or like whatever, sort of 15-year relationship. It's really strange that like they would never want to open the door on that, right? So then, let's see. Night, run up the stars, ask them how far are their souls. Well, hold on. Let me see. Can't you see I've already been hurt? I've already been wounded. Carrying this around, never let it down. It ain't exactly light. And I was just going through this deep burnout period where, like I said in the last video, I even had like an infection in my leg that I went to the doctor and he said, you should have got this checked out earlier. And I was like, oh my God. It's like I can't even like feel myself. I was so disconnected from myself. I couldn't be present. I couldn't feel the music until I transitioned. And then I was trying to tell my family what the suffocation was, but they couldn't hear it because hearing it required that them to actually hear me, like actually hear my song, like not just hear the sheet music. You know what I mean? Like actually take a bite out of the meal instead of looking at the menu. And they stayed in that layer in a way that didn't allow them to, it kept me at like a certain distance, like that version of insulated self, that they didn't understand that what I needed from them wasn't even any sort of like tangible, like out there, whatever, external world support. It was just that I see you, I'm here with you. Even if we don't quite see everything together, we're family, we're here together. You know what I mean? But every time that I tried to bring up that conversation, I was basically like told to die or get hit by a truck. So that's why I'm trying to say, like what this was this is a snapshot of what I went through from my own heart, not understanding quite what I was going through. So then that sort of pressure was already like a wound in me, and they didn't see that I was coming to them like with a wound, like, hey, I'm suffocating and I'm looking for just love as direct contact, like let's really touch each other's souls. And that was like the kryptonite. And so then I've been carrying this around, never let it down. It ain't exactly light. That was the lamest shielded way to say, this is killing me. I'm going to have to transition. This is killing me. But you don't want to hear it. So then night, run up the stars is just like sort of an expanded view, like out in the view. I live here in the wilderness. You're like looking up. And then ask them how far are their souls. So then like it's saying like the stars know they always came from the same place, the same like origin point, the same point before the colloquial Big Bang, the same source, right? So then you ask them secretly, hey stars, you look like you're so far away from each other, but really how close are your souls, right? And then I said, this is the line, and I actually said this in my case, like when they were trying to like take everything away from me because they say whatever, like no one can see my transition and like whatever, the divorce case and everything. It's just like the most effed up way a trans woman could ever like transition, lose everybody, and then get blamed for everything. But regardless, let's see. It says, "Fight, a word to describe a contest, not a request for love." Um, and so then I said that on the stand, honestly, and I wanted to because I wanted to make sure that like I was writing songs to try to get this across to say I'm not against anyone, even if they're telling me to die. It's so weird. They were the only love that I knew in my life, like my family, my ex, my spouse. And I was trying to get them to feel this only way that I could breathe in this reality. And they heard the information sometimes, but it seemed like there was always like a way, like Homer Simpson in that meme where they fade into the bush and like find a way to not like receive it in some way and then further blame me and say I'm like pressuring them to bring it up or pressuring them to watch me dance or you know what I mean. And then so it says, is it a mistake to keep knocking on your door, which is the most heartbreaking thing because part of the deep pain that came was thinking that they would eventually open their hearts, that the more and more I could become vulnerable and just tell them the honest truth from my soul as it came, they would have to understand. Like, and I literally began one of my life stories before my own father told me to, end my own life. He screamed in my face. I literally began one of my life stories. Like, and I wrote out my life story to tell them everything, to sort of say, if you know everything, shouldn't you realize like I'm coming to you like, like to connect or to tell you the textures of my soul so we could just like know each other more. And before I began, I said, I just want you guys to know me more and I want you to feel it from my heart. And then afterwards, I was told to die and that I need to put myself into a mental asylum. I'm telling you, there was such a break in reality. I knew something was up. And today I can talk about it in mechanics. And today I know I'm headed towards a life where people can meet me as I've held love, which is all the way down in shared relational contact. We don't need any buffers. I want to know the real you. So if you're out there and looking for friends and new family, uh, so my name is Amber. I have survived for what almost 2 years by myself while transitioning. And while slandered and all that stuff. So yeah, I think I'm pretty good now. But I mean, I've done the survival thing, you know. Anyway, this was Request for Love. My name's Ember, and thanks for listening to my song.